My woman, this truth is dangerous, but it's yours. I don't even know how to begin this, because what I'm about to say, once it leaves my mouth, there's no taking it back, no erasing it, no acting like it never happened. And honestly, a part of me is scared. Not because I've done something wrong, but because this truth, it carries weight. Not just for me, but for you. And I've kept it buried for too long. Not out of shame, not even out of guilt, but out of fear that if you knew what I'm about to say, you'd see me differently. You'd look at me and question if everything between us was real. And I swear to you, it is. Every word, every moment, every promise, they came from a real place. But so did this. So here it is. You remember when we first met? Everything felt light, simple, like the world finally slowed down just enough for us to find each other. But back then, before you, I was in something I had no business being in. Something that started out casual, but turned dark fast. It wasn't love. It wasn't even something I'd call real. It was manipulation wrapped in charm. Control hidden behind smiles. A person who knew exactly how to pull strings, and I let them because I didn't know better, because I was weaker than I pretended to be. And by the time I realized what it was, I was already in too deep. Now here's where it gets dangerous. That person, they never really let go. Even after it ended, even after I made it clear I was done, they kept watching, asking, showing up in places they didn't belong. And when you and I got serious, they noticed, started messaging me from fake accounts, started calling from blocked numbers, started saying things like, I know who she is. I know what she means to you. At first, I ignored it, told myself it would stop, told myself they'd get tired and disappear, but they didn't. They started saying things that made my blood run cold. Not just threats toward me, but toward you. That's when I knew I had to handle this differently. Not with fear, not with panic, but with control. So I did what I had to do. Kept quiet. Moved carefully. Protected you without telling you why. Because I didn't want to bring danger to your doorstep. But now you need to know. Because if this ever goes further, if something ever happens I can't control, you deserve to know where it started. You deserve the full truth, even if it scares you, even if it makes you look at me with new eyes. Because I love you enough to risk that. I love you enough to not protect myself at your expense. My woman, this truth is dangerous, but it's yours. When I told you there was more to the story, I wasn't exaggerating. And now that I've started, there's no way I can stop halfway. You need to know everything. Because this isn't just about some bitter person from my past. It's about how deep some people will go when they realize they've lost their grip. It started with silence. They disappeared for weeks. No messages, no calls, nothing. And I thought, maybe finally it was done. But it wasn't. They were watching. I didn't know how closely until the night you and I posted that first picture. The one where we weren't hiding anymore. Where you smiled like the world was finally soft again. And I smiled like I'd finally found peace. That photo, it changed everything. The messages came fast. Threats dressed as jokes. Fake profiles liking old pictures. And then the words that hit different. She looks too soft for the mess you come from. I ignored it, deleted it, blocked the number. But the damage was done. Because now I wasn't just protecting myself. Now, I was protecting you. And that kind of fear, it doesn't sleep. I started double-checking locks. Started watching the way we moved. Started asking questions you didn't even notice. Because I couldn't tell you why I was asking. I didn't want to scare you. Didn't want to make you look over your shoulder everywhere we went. didn't want our love story to feel like a threat. But deep down, I knew if something didn't change, this person would find a way to tear apart the piece we worked so hard to build. I went to someone I trusted, someone who's been through this kind of thing before, and I asked, what do I do when someone won't let go, even after it's over? And they said, the one thing I didn't want to hear. You have to tell her, because keeping you in the dark isn't protection, it's isolation. And if something ever happens, you need to know who's behind it, what it's about, where it started. So here I am putting it all out. Yes, I was in a toxic situation. Yes, I made mistakes back then. I stayed longer than I should have. I excused behaviors I should have run from, and now I'm paying for it. But you're not part of that past. You're my future, which is why you need to know everything. If I seem distant some days, it's not because I don't love you, it's because I'm scared they're watching again. If I move too carefully, ask too many questions, check things twice, it's not obsession, it's protection. You're the only softness I've ever felt in a world that's been too loud, too cruel, too fake. And I'll be damned if I let someone ruin that, just because they couldn't control me anymore. So now you know what I've been holding in. You know why I've been quiet. Why I sometimes stare at the door before we leave. It's not paranoia, it's preparation. Because if it ever comes down to a choice between my silence or your safety, I'll scream every word I've buried to keep you out of harm's way. You're probably wondering why I never told you sooner, why I kept you out of it for so long, why I tried to carry it all alone. I wouldn't blame you for feeling hurt, for wondering if I didn't trust you enough to bring you into it. But it was never about trust, it was about fear. Not fear of what you'd do, but fear of what this truth could do to you, because I know you. You love with your whole heart. You don't play games, you don't hold back, and the moment I handed this over to you, you'd carry it like it was your own burden, and I couldn't let that happen. I couldn't let the softest part of my life be dragged into the darkest part of my past. But now it's not just a past issue anymore. It's present, it's real, and it's getting closer than I ever thought it would. I got a message last week from a number I didn't recognize. No name, no warning, just one sentence. She won't make it to the end. It didn't say your name, didn't mention anything specific, but I didn't need it to, because I felt it, the way my stomach dropped, the way my body froze, like my heart already knew the weight of what that sentence carried. And I knew this wasn't just stalking anymore. This was obsession, and obsession doesn't let go peacefully. I didn't want to tell you, because I didn't want to put that kind of fear on your shoulders. I wanted to deal with it quietly, the way I've dealt with most things in my life. I thought maybe if I changed our patterns, if I limited what we posted, if I pulled back just enough without you noticing, maybe it would pass, but it hasn't. If anything, it's getting worse. Fake friend requests, phone calls that hang up the moment I answer. One time someone followed us after dinner. I acted like I forgot something in the restaurant, just so we could double back and lose them. You thought I left my wallet, but I didn't. I was watching their car, watching the way it slowed down, the way the lights stayed behind us too long. I haven't slept right since, because I know how people like this work. They don't want closure, they want control. And if they can't have me, they'll try to hurt what I love most. That means you. And now I can't hide it anymore, because it's not just my life at risk, it's ours. I'm already talking to someone who can help, legally, quietly. Every message, every time-stamped call, every strange car that lingers too long on our street. because if it ever comes to it, I want a record. I want proof. I want to be able to say, I didn't let this go unnoticed. But I need you to know now, because this truth isn't just mine anymore. It belongs to both of us. You deserve to know who might be watching. You deserve to know why I changed our routes, why I flinch every time your phone buzzes unexpectedly, why I've been keeping a closer eye on everything, including you, not because I don't trust you, but because I do, and trust means giving you the whole truth. Even if it's heavy, even if it's dangerous, even if it makes you see me in a way that feels uncomfortable for both of us, because I'm not just protecting your heart anymore, I'm protecting your life. You know what hurts most about all of this? It's not the fear, not even the weight of carrying something dark and keeping it hidden from you. It's the fact that I've had to treat love like a battlefield. That being in love with you, something so good and pure, this has to come with this kind of calculation. I can't just hold your hand. I have to scan the crowd while I do it. I can't just plan a surprise date. I have to make sure we're not posting where we are. I can't just enjoy the moment, because I'm too busy wondering if someone is watching from behind the scenes. And I hate that. I hate that someone who couldn't value me when they had me now wants to ruin what I've built after them, like it's a punishment, because I chose peace, because I chose you. But I'm not going to live in hiding anymore, and I'm not going to let you live in fear. So here's what I need you to know, fully, clearly, from me to you, there's a risk in all this. I won't lie to you. This person, they're unstable. The things they've said, the way they followed my life after all this time, it's not normal. It's obsessive. It's personal. And it's crossing a line that I can't ignore. But I'm doing everything I can. I've spoken to someone who handles these situations. I've started a paper trail. I've taken steps, real ones, to make sure we're covered if anything ever escalates. And now, I need you on my side. Not just emotionally. I know you've always been there for me, but mentally, I need you to stay aware. To know that this isn't me being paranoid. It's me preparing for the worst, while hoping for the best. That's why I brought this to you. Because I trust you with the ugliest part of my life. And that's what love really means to me now. Not just sharing dreams, but sharing dangers too. I don't want this truth to scare you. I want it to strengthen us. Because I've already imagined every possible outcome. And no matter how it plays out, one thing is certain. You are the one I'll protect at all costs. Not with words, but with actions. Not with promises, but with plans. Not with fear, but with preparation. So if I ever ask you to change a plan last minute, if I ever say we need to leave a place without giving a full explanation, just know there's a reason. But because I know what this person is capable of, and I'm not gambling with your safety, you are my peace, my calm, my center. And I will guard that, even when it feels like no one else understands the battle I'm fighting. Because it's not about looking strong, it's about keeping you safe. This may be the hardest truth I've ever had to share, but I'd rather give you the truth than leave you in the dark. My woman, this truth is dangerous, but it's yours.